Okay, so did you see the slap? Because I saw the slap. Let's look at the slap together.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Okay, so let's talk about it, right? And I am not getting into the... I am gonna get into it. Will Smith hit Chris Rock at the Oscars on television. Let's break it down, right? So people say, hey, you know what? He did it for a publicity stunt. I don't think so, because when he first did it, when Chris Rock first said the joke, he giggled. I feel like if it was a publicity stunt, the minute he said it, he would have already been in character and he would have been ready to go to the stage. I don't think he would have giggled first and then proceed to hit him. I think he would have already been in character. He would have known that it was coming and he wouldn't have giggled, right? I think it was authentic. I think what happened was he was laughing or whatever. He looked over at Jada. He saw that, hey, look, she's not feeling it. And I feel like people have been talking about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith for the longest now, and I feel like it just got to a boiling point. I don't think it was a simple fact that he was upset and it was his boiling point. I think it was just like, look, this is my girl and I have to stand up for her, and I see that she is reaching to her boiling point, which is why he walked up there and he slapped Chris Rock. Now, I like to talk about the takeaways that we can definitely take away from these different celebrity controversy. I'm not here to drag Chris, I'm not here to drag Will, and I'm certainly not gonna drag Jada. I feel like, let me just share my perspectives a little bit. I feel like Jada has been demonized by everyone because of something that she did. But when Will Smith came out and said, hey, look, I was cheating as well, no one even bat an eye, but yet we still villainize Jada Pinkett Smith for doing what she did, but never like even looked at Will, even when he said, look, I was out here doing what I was doing as well. Whatever she did was a mere reaction, or we were both doing whatever we were doing. No one even bat an eye when Will Smith said what he was doing, and we just continue to villainize Jada for what she did. And I just feel like that is what would I call it? That's just a issue, I feel like, within our society, and how we kind of demonize and villainize women for doing certain things while we pat men on the back for doing the same thing. So I feel like lesson number one from the situation is, look, I don't want to jump on any bandwagon that is about Jada Pinkett Smith and making her out to be the worst creature on the world. She ruined Will Smith's reputation. She is the worst person ever for doing something that humans do on an everyday basis. I'm not gonna do that, and I wouldn't want it done to me, so I would never do that to her. So that was definitely lesson number one in this whole situation. Lesson number two was that people, they get to their breaking point, right? And I know that a lot of people say, hey, you know what? It's jokes, right? How can we tell comedians what to joke about and how to joke and how far it is? I personally feel like with the Jada Pinkett Smith jokes, I feel like, okay, it's okay to crack a joke, one joke here or there. But when we're still cracking jokes years later, it's no longer jokes, it's now bullying. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, like you're at school or something and someone says something that's really slick or smart, but then it's like everybody pokes at you, makes fun at you for that thing, and it at some point it becomes bullying and it's no longer a joke. And we have to recognize those lines where, you know what, I'm no longer laughing, it's just cringy at this point that you guys are still like joking about her, right? So yeah, lesson number 2 for me was that people are gonna get to their breaking point. So you, as the person who's telling jokes, you kind of need to gauge that breaking point. But I feel like for you as the person who are reaching your breaking point, you want to assess where the breaking point is. Because I feel like with Will, I can identify with Will in the situation where being passive aggressive, where he's been passive aggressive, because all this while when everyone is making fun of Jada, it's always been, he's been really passive. He's been like really like, okay, no problem, whatever. But then immediately it's like the volcano, right? He just erupted and slapped Chris Rock. Whereas if he was able to perhaps assert himself early on in the situation and say, hey, you know what? You guys are joking about this, and I know I'm supposed to just brush it off my shoulder, but this is my wife that we're talking about, and I know that you guys are gonna have your opinion about this, but the jokes, it has to stop because it's getting to a point where I'm really like, you know. And I feel like if he would have been able to assert himself in some of those situations where people were joking, and he wouldn't have perhaps walked up on Chris Rock. I feel like Chris Rock would have known, okay, well, you know what, that's a sore spot. I may not want to deliver that joke, right? Number 3, y'all really need to stop. Y'all people who out there who are dragging Will Smith about slapping Chris Rock, you guys really need to stop. Everyone, no one is perfect. No one is perfect. People are going to have their days where, hey, I'm gonna be the best person in the world. We're talking about the person who's done Fresh Prince. We're talking about the person who starred in so many different movies. All of his accomplishments, everything is literally taken away from him because of one thing that he did on one night, because he was very frustrated in that one emotion. And I feel like that's to show, like, we as society, we have to look into ourselves. How are we always able to ignore the amazing things, the amazing accomplishments that people make, the things that people do all to the time? Not even celebrities, but people in your real life. They do so much good for you, but the minute they do something that's one little bad, it's like, you know what? Goodbye, I'm done with you forever. Like, you're just the worst person ever and I hate you. And it's just like, no, like, why are we like that? We don't like it when we disappoint people and we show up in a way that may not be our best selves. But we understand that, hey, I've showed up as my best self for 5-6 years. For Will, it's been many years he's been showing up as his best self. So he gets one night where he shows up as the not so good version of him, and he's all of a sudden the worst human being on the earth. You're cringy, you're this, you're that, your emotions, you're whatever emotions you're going through. And the thing that gets me with this Will Smith situation, the people who are criticizing Will Smith are no better, right? Which brings me to my 4th point. People like to point out the bad that you do so that they don't have to focus on their own bad. If I can point out that Will Smith or just black people or black men are violent, they're this, they're so toxic, they're so this, then guess what? Now I don't have to pay attention to my own behaviors, how I've shown up as violent, how I've shown up as mean, how I myself have shown up as inappropriate. Because when you're able to identify that, hey, you know what? I myself have shown up in some inappropriate ways. I myself have shown up in ways that isn't my best self. You have sympathy for when people show up in other ways because you can identify it within yourself, right? So it just really, like, this whole situation with Will Smith, it just really, like, it's been grinding my gears just hearing everyone else's perspective. So just to recap, I don't think that this Will Smith situation is a celebrity stunt, because I don't think he would have laughed at the initial joke. When he got up was when he saw Jada's reaction to it, right? And I feel like at that point, of course, does Will need to do some internal work? Yes, he needs to check in, do the therapy. You know, what's going on with his ego, and why was his ego bruised in that moment? What is going on within their relationship dynamic where he feel like he's not measuring up, so that the way in which he felt like he had to prove himself or to measure up or to come to her defense was just to slap him, right? He has to definitely do some work, and I'm pretty sure he has the money, the means, and the therapy stuff to do that, and I'm pretty sure that he will. But I say all of that to say, like, come on, lay off of Jada. She's not the first woman to cheat. Will Smith was cheating too, but we don't villainize Will Smith for cheating. When you see people's relationship and stuff like that, they were given their business to coach you guys, right? Through, hey, look, the picture perfect picture, it, like, I know a lot of people aspire to the perfect Hollywood picture and stuff, but that's not what it's like behind the scenes. And what I want to show you is, don't aspire, and I feel like that's the whole red table talk, the whole thing is, look, don't aspire to be like me. I want you to see the struggles that I go through in my relationship, and instead of taking what they're trying to teach you guys and taking what we've been able to see over the years to use it as a means to learn, we've then just used it to turn back and say, oh, ew, you do this, you do that. When instead, if we were able to analyze our own relationships romantically, we can realize that, hey, you know what? I've cheated. My partner has cheated. This, that, and the third has happened. We've argued, we fight. I may have slapped the girl. He may have slapped the guy. Whatever the situation may be, and understand that we're not all perfect. And stop holding people to these freaking standards that you can't even hold yourself to. Okay? Whew. That was a lot. That was a lot. But that is my takeaway from the Jada, Will, Chris Rock situation. And those are the things that I was able to learn from it. Look, work through your stuff. Don't be out here picking on people. The jokes, they get old, and after a while it will turn into bullying. So try to gauge when it's a joke and when it's just bullying. Check the temperature. All right. Nonetheless, I hope you guys were able to gain some insights from that. I ramble. I does this rambling thing. But anyway, I hope you were able to gain some insights from that. Don't forget to share your own thoughts and comments down below. I would love to hear your viewpoints, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.